Double celebration today. Mom's moving in with us, my husband announced at our anniversary party. You'll adjust, I always do, she smirked, looking straight at me. But her grin dropped when I smiled, pulled out a document and said, "Well, so do I." I don't even know where to start with this. I'm still trying to process what happened, but I need to get it out, so here goes. My name is Elise. I've been married to Adam for 17 years. We live in Miami, in a house that I paid for. Yes, I paid for it. Adam contributed a little, but this place was mostly mine. My late father left me some money, and I was careful with it. I made smart investments, worked hard, and ensured the house was only in my name. Adam and I have had our ups and downs, but I never thought he would pull something like this. I guess I gave him too much credit. And then there's her, Julia, my mother-in-law. I don't even know where to begin with Julia. She's always been a problem, but in that way, where she knows exactly how far she can push before it turns into a full-blown fight. She comments on everything: how I dress, how I cook, how I clean, how I parent. She'll insult me in ways that sound helpful if you don't listen too closely. "Oh, Elise, I just worry about Adam not getting a home-cooked meal every night, but I understand not everyone is built for the kitchen." Or, "Your skin looks dry, honey. You do wash your face, right?" And, "Oh, you got a raise? That's cute." Adam deserves a promotion too, but you know, corporate world bias and all. I don't react the way she wants me to, and I think that pisses her off more. I smile, nod, and move on with my day. I don't give her the reaction she wants, and that drives her insane. Adam? He just watches. That's just how she is, babe. She doesn't mean it that way. You know how moms can be. No, I don't. My mom wasn't like that, but I put up with her for years. Then our anniversary came around. Adam wanted to throw a big party for our 17th anniversary. I thought it was sweet. He hired a catering company, brought in a live band, even rented these fancy lights to make the backyard look like a wedding reception. I didn't question it. We'd had a rough year, and I assumed this was his way of making it up to me. I got dressed up and was excited. Our friends were there, our family, even some of my co-workers. Then Adam tapped his glass. "Everyone, can I have your attention?" I smiled, thinking he was going to say something about how much he loved me. I was wrong. Tonight is special not just because it's our anniversary, but because we have another reason to celebrate. My mom is moving in with us, permanently. I felt my stomach drop. People cheered, some gasped, someone shouted, "That's amazing." I couldn't move. And then Julia, standing beside him with a glass of champagne, smirked. "Oh, and Elise, we'll be making some changes, starting with your bedroom. It's just better for me, you understand?" She winked, like this was a joke, like this was funny. I turned to Adam, waiting for him to say something, to tell me this was some kind of bad prank. But he just smiled at me like this was the best idea in the world. He knew. He planned this, behind my back. I stood there, my champagne glass in my hand, feeling everyone's eyes on me, my friends, my family, waiting for me to react, to smile, to accept it. But what they didn't know was that I had a surprise too. I took a slow sip of my champagne, letting the bubbles fizz against my tongue, and set the glass down. I could feel my heartbeat in my ears. I looked at Adam, looked at Julia. Neither of them looked nervous because in their minds, this was already decided. They had planned it, assumed I would go along with it, assumed I would just accept whatever they threw at me. I forced a smile. "Wow," I said, keeping my voice even. Julia beamed. "I know, but it just makes sense, sweetheart. You work so much, and I can help around the house. Maybe even teach you a thing or two in the kitchen." Some people laughed, like this was a funny family moment. I could barely hear them over the ringing in my ears. Adam had planned to let his mother take over my home. He'd done it in front of everyone, probably thinking I wouldn't make a scene. But what he didn't know, what neither of them knew, was that I had already made a plan of my own. I hadn't trusted Adam in a long time. He'd been acting off for months, shady, distant. Every time I walked into a room, he was putting his phone down too fast. Conversations with his mother stopped the second I came near. And then, 2 weeks before the party, I had proof. Adam left his laptop open. He never does that. He's weirdly paranoid about it. But that day he left in a rush for a meeting, which was definitely just drinks with his buddies, and he forgot to close it. An email was open, from Adam to Julia. The subject line read, "Final move-in date confirmed." My stomach dropped. I clicked on it. There it was. An entire plan laid out between them. I'll break the news at the party so she can't freak out in front of everyone. She'll get over it once she sees how much easier it'll be with you living here. I already started moving some of her stuff to the guest room. I'll switch out the master bedroom furniture next weekend. Once she accepts it, we can talk about getting her to put me on the house deed. I read that last line 3 times. My hands were shaking. Julia wasn't just moving in, they were trying to take the house from me, and Adam thought that I would just accept it. I closed the laptop, grabbed my purse, and drove straight to my lawyer's office. Back at the party, I looked around the room at the guests who were still watching, still waiting for my reaction. I saw my best friend Harper, wide-eyed, shaking her head slightly like she wanted me to breathe. I saw my brother Marcus frowning, taking a step closer like he was ready to intervene. I saw Julia, smug, already acting like she owned the place. I took a breath and smiled. Actually, I said, reaching into my purse, I have an announcement too. The room went quiet. I unfolded the document in my hand, smoothed it out, and held it up. This house is sold. Julia blinked. Adam's smile froze. What? His voice cracked. I turned to face him fully. I sold it. I said it slowly, clearly, so there was no way he could misunderstand. I signed the papers 3 days ago. The deal is done. The new owner takes possession next week. Someone gasped. I heard Harper snort into her drink. Julia's face twitched. You're joking, she said, her voice sharp. I smiled wider. Nope. Then the doorbell rang and my stomach flipped. This was it, the moment I had been waiting for. The doorbell rang again, echoing through the room. Adam's face twisted in confusion. Julia blinked, looking like she had just swallowed a lemon. The guests fell into dead silence. I tilted my head slightly. Why don't you get that, honey? He didn't move. Julia clutched her champagne glass so tightly, I thought the stem might snap, so I did it myself. I walked calmly across the room, heels clicking against the floor, and opened the door. There, standing in the doorway, was Donna Carter, the woman who now owned my house. Donna, in her 60s, sharp and well-dressed with silver hair, stepped inside with a polite smile, her eyes sweeping over the crowd before landing on me. Elise, it's so good to see you again. I smiled back. Donna, perfect timing. I turned to the room and, just for fun, let the silence drag a little longer. Then I dropped the bomb. Everyone, meet Donna. She's the new owner of this house. Dead silence. Adam stumbled back like I had slapped him. Julia's mouth fell open, literally. Somewhere in the back, Harper choked on her drink. Donna gave a polite nod. It's lovely to meet you all. Elise and I finalized everything a few days ago, and I'll be moving in next week. Adam lost it. You sold the house? He shouted, stepping toward me, eyes wild. Our house? Without telling me? I let out a small laugh. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were making huge, life-changing decisions without talking to each other. His face went red. Elise, this is insane. Where are we supposed to live? I don't know, Adam. Maybe with your mother? Julia sputtered, her entire body jerking forward. Absolutely not, she shrieked. I am not some charity case. I'm not going to be homeless. Oh, but you were perfectly fine making me homeless, weren't you? I raised an eyebrow. Julia opened and closed her mouth, but no sound came out. The guests whispered to each other, some wide-eyed, some smirking. Donna stepped forward. I don't mean to intrude, but Elise told me she would need time to move her things. However, if you two need extra time to find a new place, I'm happy to let you stay. For a reasonable rent. Adam's head snapped toward her. Rent? He repeated like the word was foreign. Yes, Donna said, still smiling. I plan to live here, but I'm not in a rush. If you and your mother need a few weeks at a fair market rate, I'm open to discussing it. I almost laughed at the way Adam's jaw clenched. He looked at Julia. She looked at him. I could see the gears in his head turning, calculating how much money they had, how long they could last. Then the second twist hit. I turned to Donna and smiled. Oh, about that, I said sweetly. I don't need time to move out. Adam froze. Julia's head snapped back to me so fast I thought she might break her neck. What? Adam's voice dropped. I leaned against the wall, enjoying this. I already have a place lined up. My new condo is ready. My stuff is already packed. Harper, who had been silently watching, grinned. She knew. She was the only one I had told. Julia actually grabbed Adam's arm like she needed physical support. So what does that mean? Adam's voice was tight. I smiled wider. It means you two have 5 days to figure something out. Or you can start paying Donna rent. Up to you. Donna nodded. Of course, I'd need a deposit. Julia gasped so hard she nearly swooned. Adam just stared at me, and for the first time in 17 years, I saw fear in his eyes. The guests shifted uncomfortably, unsure whether to stay and witness the carnage or quietly slip out. Donna, ever the professional, simply pulled out her phone. I can draft the lease agreement now if you'd like. That was the moment Adam snapped. You can't do this to me, Elise, he shouted, stepping toward me. His face was red, veins bulging in his neck. Julia, still gripping his arm, screeched, This is your wife, Adam. She's supposed to support you, not betray you like this. I let out a short, bitter laugh. Betray you? I repeated, staring directly at Julia. You mean like how you two planned to take over my house behind my back? Adam flinched. Julia pursed her lips, her whole body shaking with rage. You're being dramatic, she hissed. That did it. That little phrase. Dramatic? I repeated, my voice rising. You tried to steal my home. Adam, you planted emails. You told your mother you were going to convince me to put you on the deed. You started moving my things out before you even told me, Julia gasped. Adam, you did what? Oh, she didn't know that part. Harper let out a low oof. I turned back to Julia, eyes narrowing. Oh, you didn't know. You thought you were just moving in, but Adam had bigger plans. He was going to make sure this house became his too. Then who knows, maybe push me out completely. Julia whipped her head toward Adam. Tell her she's lying. Adam's face had gone completely pale. He opened his mouth, then closed it, then opened it again. Silence. The moment stretched painfully long as realization dawned on Julia's face. You, she started, shaking her head in disbelief. You weren't just going to let me live here. You were planning to take control of the house? Adam swallowed hard. Mom, You idiot, she screeched. I raised an eyebrow. I'd expected her to defend him, but Julia, oh no, she turned on him immediately. You told me this was our plan, she hissed, that once I moved in, we would work together to get things in order. Mom, listen, You were gonna cut me out too, weren't you? Adam's jaw clenched. His silence was the answer. Julia took a step back, staring at her son like she was seeing him for the first time. You were going to use me, she whispered, just like you used her. I watched it happen, the betrayal hitting her. Her face crumpled, her breath hitching. Julia, the woman who had spent years making my life hell, had just realized she was disposable too. Adam looked like he wanted to crawl out of his own skin. I took a deep breath and adjusted my dress. Well, now that everything's out in the open, I think we're done here. Julia stared at Adam, then at me, and then she turned, grabbed her purse, and stormed out. Adam stood there, completely frozen. People whispered. Some guests had already left. Marcus stepped beside me. You need me to throw him out? I considered it, but then something shifted in Adam's face. I had expected rage, or maybe an attempt to weasel his way out. But what I saw was defeat. Pure, unfiltered defeat. Elise, he said, voice quiet now. Can we just talk, please? The anger I had been holding on to wavered, just slightly. Talk? I repeated. He nodded quickly. Just us, no one else. I exhaled slowly, then nodded. We sat on the back patio away from the remaining guests. The music had been turned off. The night felt eerily quiet. Adam ran a hand through his hair, looking down at the table. I screwed up, he said finally. I waited. I thought, he exhaled, I don't even know what I thought. That I'd let you take advantage of me? I said, voice flat. He winced. No, not exactly, I got comfortable. You always handled everything. You always made things work. And Mom, she kept pushing me, saying I deserved more, that you had everything and I had nothing. And I started believing it. I shook my head. You had a marriage, a partnership, but instead of talking to me, you plotted with your mother. Do you even love me, Adam? His head snapped up, and for the first time that night, I saw genuine pain in his eyes. Of course I do, he said almost desperately. Elise, I love you. I was selfish. I saw an opportunity and I took it, but I never meant to hurt you. I thought we'd end up in a better place because of it. I let his words settle between us. Then I said the thing I had known for weeks now. I don't love you anymore. Adam flinched like I had punched him. I kept going. Maybe I did once. Maybe if you had apologized sooner I would have believed you. But not anymore. And I don't trust you. His eyes filled with something close to panic. Elise, I stood up. I'll have my lawyer contact you. We'll figure out the details. He stayed sitting, staring at his hands. He didn't try to stop me because deep down he knew there was nothing left to save. A week later, I watched from my new condo window as Adam and Julia packed up the last of their things. Donna had not let them stay. She found new tenants within days. Julia and Adam moved into some tiny apartment, a far cry from the home they had tried to steal from me. Harper popped a bottle of wine as we sat on my new balcony. To fresh starts, she said, grinning. I clinked my glass against hers. To finally putting myself first, I corrected. And as I took a sip, I realized something. For the first time in years, I felt free.